Welcome to the Independent Tinker. We have here a Stihl MS 462, mint condition, new in box, but that's about as useful as high heels on a hippo. Let's open it up. Have you wondered what came in the box to your dealer? Did they give you everything? This is unopened, so we'll see. What does the dealer get in the box? Your owner's manual. Highly recommend you read this because there's a lot of info that is relevant. Not just how to operate the chainsaw, how to cut a tree down. I didn't even ask him if it was M-tronic. This is a old style carbureted chainsaw. I'm happy about that. All right, I'm going to take the top cover off and the clutch cover, and then we will prepare this saw for use with Amsoil Mudslinger. Mudslinger puts a protective film on the surface that will keep things from sticking to it, such as mud, sawdust, or anything else that we encounter out in the woods. I've moved to a well-ventilated area to apply this Mudslinger. Let's put it on the top first. I'm going to give it a liberal coating. Not only does this protect the saw or a dirt bike or whatever you put it on from dirt, lets it release easily, it also protects from UV rays. So if you've seen people with faded covers, applying this first can help prevent that from happening. Let's get the rag out here, cover up this muffler. I don't really want to spray it on anything that gets so hot it would burn this off. Let's move over to the clutch cover. This will make cleanup much easier. If you know your chainsaw gets very dirty here at the clutch and on the clutch cover, because your oil is coming out right here and the chain is pulling all the chips right back into this area and it all collects here. Let me hit this one more time. All right. We're going to let that dry and we'll put the saw back together. We've reassembled the saw. We've also put a 28-inch bar and chain on it. This bar you may notice it's dirty because it came off of a 661 that is currently in a milling setup. So I have this bar and chain available for the 462. It is a solid bar, so it's a bit heavy. Right here is the chain tensioner. Put the flat bladed screwdriver in there. Make sure you pull up on the bar because that does change the adjustment if you let it come down. Once you have it to the tension you want, we'll tighten up the clutch cover nuts. And then we'll move on to fueling and oiling this chainsaw. We have a great product from Amsoil. I've been using it myself for about 20 years. And it's really the reason that I got hooked on Amsoil. Was this synthetic 2-stroke Sabre Professional oil. I mix it at 100:1 for all of my 2-stroke applications, and it really cut down the smoke that was coming out the exhaust, and I didn't have to breathe it. So this is what got me started with Amsoil, as well as They're semi-synthetic bar and chain oil. This protects better than any other oil I've ever used. So let's go ahead and fuel and oil this. I'll put the oil in first so I don't forget. So, something to notice about these caps, I really enjoy these caps. I've heard a lot of complaints from watching other YouTube videos. One thing you've got to realize is your cap is very tall. If you fill this all the way up to where you think it's full, you've actually overfilled it. When you put this cap in there, it will push the oil out because it's got nowhere else to go. So it looks like it is leaking when it's brand new. It's actually because it's been overfilled. So careful about how much oil you put in there. Put it just below the lip. I always pull up on the cap because I have before thought that it was in there, turned it vertical, cap falls out, all my oil's on the ground. So every time that I try to tighten one of these caps back up, I make sure it is actually tight. Get our gas and oil mix. And again, fill it to just below the lip of the tank. Don't fill it all the way up to the top because it will spill out. And there, I've spilled it out. But good thing we have put the mudslinger on there. So then it's an easy cleanup. All right, well, let's go start this. If you're not familiar with Stihl's master control lever, up is at the stop position. It says it right there. Conveniently, they have designed it to return to run. When you want to start it and it's a cold engine, you pull the trigger in and pull the lever all the way to the bottom position. Once it burps or fires off, then you'll come in, push it up to the high idle position. And then once we get it going, pull the trigger, it'll go back to run. I'll push in the decompression valve, put the master control lever to the bottom. Brake is already engaged. You may have noticed I didn't go straight to high idle with the chain or the saw because I want the chain to go around a few times at lower speeds to pick up some oil from the oiler so that it doesn't wear the chain out excessively. That's what I typically do with a brand new chain. Run it a little bit at slow speed before I go to the high idle of the chainsaw. If you'd like to see what Amsoil can do for you or your business on your vehicles and equipment, please go to the link in the description below, and thank you for joining me on The Independent Tinker.